Captain Arsalan just explained to me, and I really appreciate you joining us. Now, before I say any of this, I want to just say that I have nothing against my Indian brothers and sisters. One of my best friends is Indian. I always say that, and I do plan to visit India with him and really explore the place. But over here, they've actually captured three tanks from two different wars. One was the 1971 war, which liberated Bangladesh. The tank from that Indian tank was captured and is shown over here. Tank number 37 they call it. And if you come over here, this one is also called Bushire. Bushire? I don't know what that is from 1965 war, which basically came into Pakistan's area, and they were captured here as well. This is another one called Kushab that was captured by the Pakistani army, and that's also an Indian tank.
In this video, I will take you on a tour to Pakistan's military museum based in Lahore, which is filled with artifacts such as guns, tanks, helicopters, as well as historical information on military expeditions and operations conducted by Pakistani Army. But before we do that, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification, as it really helps out with the growth of the channel. Now, without further ado, this is Pakistan's military museum.
So today I'm at Pakistan Military Museum in Lahore. If you go on TripAdvisor, you can easily check that this is the third most popular place after Badshah Masjid and one other place in Lahore to come and visit and see. As you can see behind me, there's lots of helicopters and there's lots of aeroplanes and tanks and all kinds of things, just to demonstrate the military power of Pakistan, I suppose. And over on that side, which I will show you, you can see those three flags, right? The middle flag actually represents Pakistan's flag, I think, and the other one's actually military, and the one right next to it is the military corps, right? I have Captain Arsalan with me again today, so he will show us around. Thanks to him, we'll be able to see what Pakistan Museum, which is actually Army Museum, which is one of the main attractions of Lahore. What does it look like and what does it has to offer? So stick around and I'll speak to you in the next one.
The museum is relatively new. It was established in 2017 and it is based in the Lahore's cantonment area. Moreover, this museum is Pakistan's second largest collection of military objects in the country, and is mainly made to promote military history of Pakistan and the level of sacrifices made by the military.
Of course, when you come to this country, I mean, I grew up here, okay? So I went to a military school in Pakistan, and I was taught that there was a guy called Rashid Minhas, who is known as, who's a martyr, basically. And youngest martyr, in fact, yes. And his pictures are all across Pakistan, especially in the Kant area in Lahore. And when you come over here, you will see, if you visit the Kant area, behind me is actually a replica of his plane that crashed and killed him, essentially. Or I should say, martyred him. Yeah. And he got martyred along with another personnel. He was also ex-Pakistani, you can call him, because later on he became Bengali. He was his Bengali instructor pilot, as it says on there, and he was trying to take the plane to India in the 1971 war, and the plane was crashed. And Rashid Minhas is actually, I suppose, known for his valiant efforts to stop him to take the plane to India, essentially. So he's considered as a hero of Pakistan, essentially. So yeah.
As you enter the museum, you'll see 4 imposing tanks that Pakistan captured from India during various wars. And just like its rival, Pakistan also claims that India does state-sponsored terrorism in Pakistan. And you can see those displays and case that Pakistan makes with evidence in this museum as well. Of course, it's not as aggressive as most of Indian media that does portray Pakistanis and Pakistani army as India's mortal enemy, and has caused a lot of anti-Pakistani and anti-Muslim hatred amongst uneducated Indians.
Behind me is an artillery gun, also in Urdu known as a top, okay, and a mini one at that too. Captain Arsalan just told me, thank you again for actually So it's such a inviting experience. I really appreciate it. He just said that these things are actually are supposed to be called guns. These things, this thing is an actual gun. You know when people say, you know, that small pistol, some people say that's a gun. That's not actually a gun. The gun, that thing itself is actually called a weapon. You just call it a weapon. This is a literal gun. This is known as a gun, artillery gun. And you will see that outside when you actually enter the museum. So this is the muzzle loading gun from the British era, as you can see over here. It's a really old gun, very, very well maintained, just outside the museum. And here we go into the entrance.
There are many sculpted busts of Pakistani army generals from 1947 till today. The Jinnah Gallery outside of the museum is free for everyone to see, but entry to this museum would cost 100 Pakistani rupees for Pakistanis and 1000 rupees for any foreign nationals, which is equivalent to about £3 or $4. And inside the museum you'll be able to explore a variety of exhibits that will bring you through different wars, weapons used and the wartime heroes. Some may say that the aim of this museum would be to spread Pakistani propaganda amongst its people, and I was skeptical of that first as well. And there are plenty of opportunity to find bias by which history is portrayed. I personally think they did a great job at trying to be as factually accurate as possible. I can see with the artifacts displayed there that the aim of this museum was to inspire the youth to become useful citizens of Pakistan, and I think the museum definitely succeeds in achieving that aim. In saying that, I also believe that there are many areas for improvement, such as displaying more of Army's effort and contribution towards peacekeeping missions around the world, and also in Pakistan itself. It is definitely evident today, more so it was 10 years ago, that Pakistan is a much safer country, and that's largely because of the army.
So I've just finished the tour of the museum. One of the sad things about this place, which is I actually would apologize for as well, is that you are not allowed to video whatever is happening inside. I do not know why they have this silly rule, but the whole point is that once you're not allowed, once the army says you're not allowed, you're supposed to obey that. So I've taken whatever I could and I've put that in the video. So any army personnel, Pakistani army personnel who's listening to this, I apologize, but I had to show what was in there. And Captain Arsalan, thank you so much for showing me around. I really appreciate it.
I enjoyed the same.
Oh, cheers. Army museum's right over there. Over here, they have a massive list of all the martyrs who've passed away and who've given their life for Pakistan. Now, there was a lot of controversy. There's a lot of controversial statements that I thought that they were anyway, because obviously I was educated in the UK and in Pakistan, so I see both sides essentially, especially with regards to 1971 war. And obviously, so what they have is they have several what I would call them like alleyways that actually takes you straight into different aspects of what Pakistan Army has done for Pakistan essentially. That would include terrorism, of course, the war. So could you kindly explain what we did with terrorism, Arsalan?
Right now you can see we have done a lot.
Okay.
We are roaming around. People are coming, they're enjoying their lives. That's what happens, that's what you see after you're done with terrorism.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah, we are living a very smooth and peaceful life right now. We have done a lot.
When was the last terrorist attack?
I don't remember. I think it was
2013?
very back long.
2013?
Like maybe.
Yeah, the
2013.
one that happened in near the Karakoram region.
Yeah.
The terrorists had attacked some places where there were some trekkers who were trying to go and travel, I suppose.
Yeah.
But since then, there has not been a proper
It's been
terrorist attack, essentially.
It's been like 7 to 8 years that we are having a very,
Let's sit down.
normal
Let's have a
life.
proper
Yes,
conversation.
fine.
Oh yes, that feels good.
Tight enough.
Yes. Okay. So you were saying So they have not been a proper terrorist attack. One of the things that really stood out is there was an attack that happened on Pakistani children, literally children of Pakistani army officials, essentially, specifically in Peshawar in 2014.
16 December 2014.
16th December 2000. That was what's that called in Urdu? What do we call that day? The Black Day or something,
The
right?
Black Day.
The Black Day, we call it. And on that day, they call them terrorists. As you already know, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter.
Exactly.
So, from what I know, obviously that was such a black moment on the history of Pakistan that our army did anything and everything they could to go in and kill as many, I suppose, terrorists as possible. But some of the official reports also said that the reason that attack was carried out was because Pakistan's army bases were being used to carry out drone attacks, essentially
By US.
by US on those places in Waziristan. And you already, I don't know whether you guys know, but you would know that over 96% or 97%, correct me if I'm wrong, tell me in the comments, of course, of the drone attacks that have taken place under President Obama, I must say as well, more so than President Trump, have actually resulted in just killings of civilians and innocents. So we all know drone attacks don't actually do anything whatsoever. So this was imminent. And I'm glad that Pakistan as a nation has learned from that terrible mistake that they had made by giving places to the Americans, essentially. So that was one of the most special, I should say, scenes to see over there. One of the other ones that Arsalan and I saw was, of course, the 1971 war that I particularly enjoyed, because I had a proper discussion with the lady that they actually have a lady, what would you call her? The information staff member, I should say, who stands there, and you have any questions regarding the war, she answers those questions. There's a lot of narrative regarding 1971 war that Pakistanis were falsely accused of doing things, but I still maintain my stance that there was, and I think Arsalan would also agree with me on this as well, that there was a violation of democracy. There was a violation of elections, I suppose, election results, because East Pakistan had actually won the election. And
we call it a political instability.
Yeah, it was a political instability.
Yes.
And they claim, or I would say Pakistanis claim in the Army Museum, that India sponsored terrorism had taken place, where India had actually backed Mukti
Bahini
terrorist group. Oh, you would call them, yeah, that's what I'm saying. To you, but to Bengalis, who a lot of my friends are Bengalis, they do say that they are freedom fighters. Whereas, for example, Taliban by Afghanistan, some of the Afghanis would consider them as freedom fighters because they're fighting a liberation war of Afghanistan. But we would consider them as terrorists, don't we? So there's a lot of narrative. So always remember that whenever you listen to a story, listen to it from an open perspective. Listen to it from a perspective of, look, this might have happened and this is how it's perceived. She claimed, the lady staff claims, that India had no right to meddle in our internal matters. And I think India would say the same thing, I suppose, as well, that Pakistan has no right to involve themselves in the matter of Kashmir. But Pakistan maintains the idea that Kashmir, and there was also another demonstration of Kashmiri sites as well. Now, I don't know why I couldn't show you this, but I'd love to show you this. For me, it was a genuine opportunity to demonstrate the sort of sacrifices Pakistan has made for their country, and I think it is, and they also show, of course, the idea, they literally have, what do they have? They have monuments, like a mini monuments, and they have people, they have like small artillery, like replicas, sculptures to show the sort of sacrifices Pakistanis have made, civilians and army, but mostly army, that have made for Pakistan, essentially. And for me, it's such a fantastic experience, and I would always encourage you, when any of you guys, even Indians as well, because I've also asked my Indian friend as well, that he's scared. He thinks that once he comes here, he would be captured and killed and stuff. But I would say, look how peaceful and calm this place is. And this guy's in army. So, like, honestly, come over here. Even if you're Indian, you're treated like a brother. So, I'm telling you, honestly, So especially if you're a foreigner, do not worry about it whatsoever. You would be like, I have seen a lot of foreigners even at Vaga as well. Anyway, I would wrap this video up. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope you were enlightened by this, and I would bring you more peaceful, I suppose, and more fun trips of Pakistan, of monuments of Lahore, especially because that's where I am right now. So stay tuned, and please subscribe and like. I know I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this as well, by the way, because I know there's a lot of Indian brothers who do not like who are very anti-Pakistani. So anything I would say to them is like, open your hearts, open your minds. We're all good people. We look the same. हम बात भी वही करते हैं, सही बात करते हैं. We talk the same as well. So there's no point in fighting and causing more problems for each other. So let's come together and subscribe to this channel, and I'll show you more trips from Pakistan and India and across the world. So thank you very much for joining us. Captain Salam, thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.
Thank you. Peace out.